So Nuxt Studio is built on top of Nuxt Content. Nuxt Content, it's a classical Nuxt module. You can consider it as a database located into your application. So you have a content folder, and inside this content folder, you have Markdown files, and you can query those Markdown files into your Nuxt application. So you can query these Markdown files, add it in your Nuxt application, and from Nuxt Studio, you can edit this Markdown file. So that's the main idea behind Studio. And the first, let's say, alpha version of Nuxt Studio was the edition of those Markdown files, thanks to a classical Monaco editor. So you were able to edit the Markdown and see the preview live of your website.
Danny Thompson talks with Ferdinand Coumau and Baptiste Leproux from Nuxt Labs about Nuxt Studio. They discuss how Nuxt Studio's live previews, view component integration, and schema-driven forms simplify content management and enhance collaboration between developers and non-technical users.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Modern Web Podcast. I am Danny Thompson. I'm the host today. I'm joined with two amazing special guests, Ferdinand Coumau. He's the head of sales and customer success manager at Nuxt. And we have Baptiste Leproux, and he is the product lead of Nuxt Studio. And so super excited to do this episode. We've been talking for a little bit off camera, and I kind of wanted to just kind of dive in and get an idea of, or set the tone rather, for the episode today. And so if you can, let's kind of talk about, number one, introducing yourselves, but number two, what motivated the establishment of Nuxt Studio, and how does it aim to contribute to the long-term sustainability of the ecosystem as a whole?
All right. Do you want to start, Baptiste, or should I dive in?
Yeah, okay, go first.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Danny, for having us today. I'm very happy and very excited in participating to the Modern Web Podcast. So, as you mentioned, I'm Ferdinand. I've been working for Nuxt Labs for 3 years now. My role over at Nuxt Labs was at first help Sebastian figure out how to make Nuxt sustainable and what kind of services and products were needed on the ecosystem, and how do we develop them, and now how do we sell them. Just to start to answer some of the questions you already asked with the introduction. In 3 years, we've been developing several products and services. On the services side, we developed some consulting, trainings, workshops, stuff like that, and also some partnership. So we partner up with a lot of different hosting providers, for example, but also agencies that provide more custom services for people who need to in need of any development services, basically, and also products. So SaaS products, several ones. The first one being Nuxt UI Pro, which is a component library of premium building blocks, because the component will reduce the scope of this product. The second one is the one created by Baptiste, called Nuxt Studio, but I will let him explain more in details what it's about. And the third one is more on the hosting side of things, and it's called Nuxt Hub. I will also let Baptiste, which is way more technical than me, dive deeper into details.
Yeah, Baptiste.
Okay, let's go. Hello, Danny. Thanks. Really happy to be there too. So I'm Baptiste Leproux. I'm product lead of Nuxt Studio. I joined Nuxt Labs at the beginning of the story when Sebastian created the company, and from then we worked a lot to find products to help Nuxt developers to improve their developer experience, and the idea is to find product that can help the people to fully enjoy the framework. And as Ferdinand said, the goal is also for the product to be sustainable and to let the framework team follow the direction they want to follow. And to do this, of course, we need money, because we are not backed by any company. So this is where Nuxt Labs comes. And concerning myself, I'm working on Nuxt Studio. Maybe I can dive in Nuxt Studio right now. If you want, I can talk about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Concerning my product, let's talk about the story behind it. When I arrived at Nuxt Labs, we were really looking for different products. We were doing a lot of research and development. And the first thing we told ourselves is we need to find a way to update our documentation easily and to do it directly on a web platform. So that was the first idea behind it. We've created a visual. Oh, we've created not a visual, but a pattern or a template which was named Docus at this time. And the idea behind it was to create documentation really easily. And we have created, at this time, that was not yet Nuxt Studio, but we have built a Docus platform that was where the idea was to edit the markdown of this documentation template. So that's the first version of what is named Nuxt Studio today. And so we've started to build our documentation on this. And at some point, we decided to go further. And we told ourselves, if we can edit documentation, we can also edit lots of different products, lots of different templates. And this is where we choose to move to a more generic name. So to move to the studio, the Nuxt Studio. This is the place where you can edit globally. This is the place where you can edit your markdown. So Nuxt Studio is built on top of Nuxt Content. Nuxt Content, it's a classical Nuxt module. You can consider it as a database located into your application. So you have a content folder, and inside this content folder, you have markdown files, and you can query those markdown files into your Nuxt application. So you can query these markdown files, add it in your Nuxt application, and from Nuxt Studio, you can edit this markdown file. So that's the main idea behind Studio. And the first, let's say, alpha version of Nuxt Studio was the edition of those markdown files, thanks to a classical Monaco editor. So you were able to edit the markdown and see the preview live of your website. And that was working well. And this is where Ferdinand comes in the company. And Ferdinand was also editing our website with the platform. But Ferdinand is not a technical guy.
Mostly marketing pages and content.
Exactly.
And since I came from a really non-technical background, every time I was facing some code snippet or anything that looks like code was close to the matrix for me. You know what I mean? And really,
he's talking about Markdown.
So it's just Markdown. But Markdown for a complete, non-technical guy, it can be confusing at first. It looks like code, that it acts like code, and even just try to understand all the deployment process and the versioning process linked to GitHub or stuff like that. It's not something that you naturally know. So I tried to push my vision to the rest of the team and explain them what was like a classic reaction from an end users with no technical capabilities, meaning that if we face too many choices that we don't understand, or if we feel like we can make a mistake and break something at the end, we won't use the tool. We will be too afraid to use it. So at a small scale, I try to push a little bit more this tool to be more and more more user friendly for people like me that want to modify stuff. And that was at the time, if I remember well, Baptiste, that was the time we really tried to to see what was out there, to try out several different CMS, and some headless CMS, some CMS on specific ecosystem. We just try everything else. And what we noticed is there were really all the CMS were positioning themselves on a spectrum, going from being very user-friendly and very welcoming to non-technical users, to end users that just want to modify some title and some content, or on the other end of the spectrum, being very customizable, very that does not require a lot of guidelines to be followed, and the developers were very free to design the way they wanted the pages, And we were a little bit surprised to see that there were no in between. We didn't find any example of good CMS that were really user friendly for end user, for non-technical users, and also highly customizable, and that left a lot of room to the developer to create custom component, custom pages. And that was the ambition at the moment. We said it was like nearly a year ago, I think, or 2 years ago, and we were like. Okay, let's go for it. Let's create for Nuxt user something that can be used by anybody, and also that won't frustrate developers that want to do some custom development, some custom components, some custom pages, and that want to tailor the experience for their end users. And that's where we are today. Today, you are a developer. You can create an entirely custom Nuxt web application with custom view component and anything that you created yourself. And you just have to use the content module and the studio module, and you can import your project as it is within Studio, and all the pages that you put in your content folder will be editable by non-technical user using a Notion-like editor and having a live preview, and with a live synchronization with GitHub, and everything is done under the hood. You don't have to be afraid of the deployment you make and everything. So it's a great product.
I was gonna say, I've heard a lot, and you've explained quite a bit, but what I'm trying to grasp right now is what is the problem that it's solving? Like, who's the ideal client here? Like, you're talking about a markdown editor that's similar to Notion, which is nice, but if we have to draw out the person that this is solving a problem for, who is it? I'm confused on where the correlation is on end user to the solution actually being delivered, because I understand to a certain degree, like, this is a Git-like CMS. You have a CMS that's easy to use for the non-technical side, and you have solutions for the technical side, but I don't understand where in the ecosystem or where in the developer experience that this sounds like this is the thing that I need to grab for every single time. What is that?
I can answer, I think. Before Nuxt Labs, I've been working in agencies. So I know what is it to work in agencies. I'm also sometimes making some freelancing for clients, and I'm always facing. I have to choose the technology. So of course I choose Nuxt now, and then sometimes I have to choose the CMS I have to use, and it depends of the client. And when we were building Studio, as Ferdinand mentioned, 1 year ago, when Ferdinand told us we need this product to be non-technical friendly, at this moment, we already had the capacity, thanks to Nuxt and Nuxt Content, it was already easy to build a website and customize everything. I mean, with Nuxt and Nuxt Content, you can create the visual and the interface you want. You are no limited. So it's a really open framework. You can do whatever you want. And we told ourselves, if a developer can create the visual he wants without any restriction, and if next he can just give the ability to a non-technical user to only edit the content he chooses to be editable, this is the best. Because you just build your website just like you are developing any other website. You just focus on the website. You don't care about the content. And once the website is ready, the non-technical user, so your client, use Nuxt Studio and they can edit the content. And they can edit the content. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may add something, it's there's of course the fact that in the developing phase, you don't have to focus on the content and leave it entirely to your customer. But there's, for me, it's even more than that. So many times after deployment, you're faced with small edits to be made, not even content related, but more about the way you present your pages, the way the way your component has to behave and to be displayed, and if you don't provide something that that your customer can manage, you will have to do it. You'll have to do these small daily edits, perhaps for weeks or for months, and that's some billable acts. It's difficult to build that to your customer. Change some behavior, change, adapt some component, change that kind of thing. And if you provided a fully custom application to your customer, there's not a lot of CMS today that can fit with this situation. So how do you get rid of that? And how do you focus more on billable acts? So meaning more custom work, new pages, new component that you can then make available to your customer. And that's
maybe
where
to explain this. To explain this, Ferdinand, yeah. I did not explain what was the main feature and the best feature of Nuxt content. With Nuxt content, we've built a markdown syntax, a new markdown syntax. And with this syntax, there is lots of different features, but one of the greatest feature is you can integrate some view components directly into your markdown. And because the markdown is fully editable by non-tech user with our editor, it means that non-tech users can play with view components. And that's great because we built the editor, as we said, just like Notion. So it means you can just hit the slash and you will have all your components. You can select the components you want to add in the page, and then you can edit the slots, the props of your components. So yeah, just like Ferdinand said, if the developers gives access to those components, he doesn't have to do extra work after the release of the product. Non-tech people can handle it themselves. And that's the best thing about Studio. And of course, everything is live previewed. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So perhaps to give you a shorter answer of your question on who's the ideal users and our target for this product is really agencies and freelance, where we want them to make safely the bet of Nuxt. So all the agencies that nowadays are pushing Nuxt to their customer, we want them to have also a long-term option in terms of CMS, and to be able to say to the customer, you don't have to worry, I can create an old custom application, and then I will provide for you a product that will make you the final owner of this application, without the need for you to know anything about Nuxt. You just have to learn a few things about Notion, but I think it's a 30 minutes introduction, and then you have it. And you're not entirely dependent on me to do some small edits to change your content. You have the keys, and you can only give me a call when you need me to custom some new pages, create some new components, make some new props on existing component, that kind of stuff. So this way, the customer get more value, is more independent with this application, and the creator of the application is only solicited for added value tasks,
it's not only to update the content. You also have the ability to create new pages. For example, if you have a blog, imagine you have a big website. So I've built some big websites for car companies when I was working in an agency. So for this website, I built the entire core of the application. That was really complex website. And on the side of this project, there were a blog. So they were posting a blog all the time, some new articles. With Studio, you are totally free to do it. You can create as many posts as you want. And if you want to integrate some custom components inside it, because you want the blog post to be not only text, but also, I don't know, but animated components, whatever, you can do it. You are free to do that.
So that was a great point. And so before we get back to the episode, this episode is proudly sponsored by This.Labs, your partner in modern web development and consulting. At This.Labs, we specialize in empowering businesses to reach their full potential through technology. We understand that in today's fast-paced tech environment, adaptability and efficiency are crucial. That's why we offer tailored solutions designed to meet your unique challenges and objectives. And our commitment to excellence and client success sets us apart as a trusted advisor in the industry. Discover how This.Labs can transform your business, utilized by partners such as Google, Microsoft, PlayStation, Roblox, T-Mobile, American Airlines, and PayPal. Visit this.co to learn more about our services and how we can help you stay ahead in the competitive landscape. Thank you to This.Labs for sponsoring this episode and for the dedication to advancing the developer community. All right, and we're back. So my question now, we've kind of covered a lot, but like, how do you make an open source solution like Nuxt sustainable with so many users? Like, what are some of the things that you're thinking about? And on top of that, what metrics are you even using to say, we're on the right path, this is actually working, and we're going to continue going down this route?
All right. So first of all, at first, the need to create a company behind it and to create a product and services were not that obvious. Like if we take a step back and rewind a little bit, Nuxt was created in 2016 by Sébastien Chopin. He only created Nuxt Labs like 1 year later, but it was just a one-man company, just for him to give talks, to provide supports, to organize workshops. But as Nuxt were growing and growing and growing, the need to really create a structure behind it, to support it, only came in 2020, where we started to reach amazing level of usership and so many people contributing and a huge community. I mean, it grew even quite fast in 2017, but started to just grow bigger until 2020. And at some point, you reach a level where, okay, the most popular people on the framework can survive out of sponsorship, but you're in a situation where you rely on a huge community of contributors that don't necessarily get rewarded as much as the involvement they put in, and you put the entire ecosystem at risk if you don't support these people. If you don't get the means necessary to support these people, you put the whole ecosystem at risk, because the guy can just stop working at some point with legitimate reason, just like because he has another job or for any other reasons. And at some point you're thinking, okay, do I want this ecosystem to keep growing and to keep being innovative? How do I do that? And so the only way to do that is to create a structure to employ the most important people of the ecosystem and find ways to reward the others. So how do you do that? You create a company. And with this company, you think with the core team, with the chosen contributors, with the first people employed, you think, okay, what kind of product or services can I create and provide to the people using Nuxt? Because there was a big reasoning behind it. When you're a company, and you are creating a new application, and you have to choose your stack. You have to choose your front-end technology. You are not only choosing the technology by selecting which one is the most innovative, which one is the most trendy, or which one works the best. You are also thinking, if I choose this stack, if I choose this technology, will I find easily other product that will satisfy my current or future needs? If I encounter an issue in 6 months, can I find support to find this issue? If I recruit some people, can I find ways for training them? If I at some point need a CMS, what are the CMS that exist on this ecosystem? And as the last true open source ecosystem, the Vue and the Nuxt ecosystem, because we are not backed by Facebook or by Google, so there's no billion behind us, you know, we're just a few of us trying to make the best out of it. You have to create answers for this company to feel safe to choose Nuxt. So the first objective was that. How do we reinforce? How do we make the ecosystem stronger when it has to be chosen? And the second objective was, of course, and how with this product, with these services, we generate revenues to allocate them to the right people and make sure that Nuxt is sustainable and make sure that the hundreds of thousands of developers using Nuxt today can safely use Nuxt and be sure that it's production ready and you know, make sure just that it won't stop in a year or two because the two most important people were recruited by Google or by or whatever, you know. It was about that, but about making it technologically sustainable and making it financially sustainable. And that's where Studio come from. That's where the consulting come from. That's where the partnership come from. So that's all the reasoning behind it.
So I guess my question now is, what do you see as the future of Nuxt Studio, and what's, I guess, on the horizon, or something that we can kind of look forward to coming our way soon?
I can talk about this one. I can talk about all the things we are currently building, so I will be a little more technical. But I can dive in. Currently, I was talking about the Nuxt content module. In fact, we are currently rebuilding the module in order to gain some performances. To explain, Nuxt Content V2, so the actual version, use a file-based storage system. And that was sometimes an issue for big websites as it was generating large bundle. It was not an issue if you are statically generating your website or server-side rendering your website, but it was mainly an issue for the edge rendering. And because, as we just explained, the idea behind Nuxt Labs is to have a group of compatible products. We wanted Nuxt Content and Nuxt Studio to be easily deployable on Nuxt Hub. And the Nuxt Hub project, we did not have the time to talk a lot about it, but Nuxt Hub is a deployment platform for your Nuxt application, and it's built on top of Cloudflare. So Nuxt Hub provides an easy way to do edge rendering. I can easily explain what is edge rendering because it's important for people who doesn't know it. But
Go for it.
Edge rendering, you can consider it as server-side rendering, but the difference is when you make a request in edge rendering, we are finding the more close place, the more close server from where you are located. And we are popping a server at this point. So the server starts, send a request, and when it has sent a request, the server is down. So it's really cheaper because you don't have server running all the time. It's only on-demand server, but it needs really performant server start. It's called the cold start. The server needs to start really fast, so the request can be sent really fast. And thanks to Nitro, which is the server engine behind Nuxt, we can provide this cold start. So this is why Nuxt Hub has been created. Nuxt Hub has been created to provide edge rendering really easily to deploy Nuxt application. So to come back to the future of Nuxt Studio, as I was saying, we want Nuxt Content website to be easily deployable on the edge. And to do this, we've rebuilt Nuxt Content, and that's why in Content v3, so the new version, which is currently in alpha, we are moving to an SQLite-based storage layer. So it's enhancing performance and scalability, and this change nothing for the user. I mean, we are handling everything without any extra configuration. So whatever the deployment mode, we are handling the SQLite for you. So if you are running your server locally, we will generate the SQLite in your server locally. When your application is rendered client side and there is some client navigation, we will pop an SQLite in the browser to satisfy the request. It's really fast because the browser already have the data, and it's really fast. If you want server-side rendering, we are also creating this SQLite on the server. For static generation, that's the same. We are creating the SQLite once when you are generating your website. And for edge rendering, you can provide, or we can provide, because Nuxt content is fully open source, so we are building it with the community, of course. And for edge rendering, we are currently providing an adapter, which is in fact, instead of using SQLite, is using D1, which is the Cloudflare database, and it's using D1 instead of SQLite, so it's the same behavior as for server-side rendering, except that it's using D1 technology and D1 and Cloudflare database. So it will be deployable on Nuxt Hub in a click. That's the main idea behind it, and yeah, it will improve the performance. And thanks to this SQLite-based layer, we have lots of new features because we will be able to create some content collection. So you can imagine this as database collection. So you will be able to provide schema for your collection. Currently, that's not the case with the actual version of content. So you can create your schema. It ensures type safety across utilities and APIs of Nuxt content. So TypeScript is really improved with it. It's minimizing errors during development. And in fact, collections are also great for Nuxt Studio because thanks to this schema, okay, I have to add something. We've built Nuxt Studio on top of Nuxt Content v2. So Nuxt Content v2 was there, and we adapt the platform to edit Nuxt Content v2. With Nuxt Content v3, we are creating the module with Nuxt Studio in mind. And it changes everything because both are totally compatible. And the idea behind it is, of course, to provide the best CMS platform. And because both are totally compatible, we can really improve the experience on Nuxt Studio side. And for example, the schema of the collection I was talking about, it will allows us to generate some form on Nuxt Studio. So you just create your schema, just a classic schema for your database. And in this schema, you can say, I want to display this field on Studio. I don't want this one. This one, I want to display it as an image picker, for example. This one, I want to display it as an icon picker. You can really customize entirely the schema. And on Nuxt Studio side, we will generate the form for you. And of course, there is validation is handled. It opens a lot of possibility, and it will really improve the experience on Nuxt Studio. That's what's coming next, and
even further than that. If you allow me, Baptiste, because you were really like features oriented, but on a user's perspective, basically everything that Baptiste just listed here will help Studio be scalable. And work for bigger organization, because with this kind of feature, we'll be able to he talk about validation, field validation, of course, but also more level permission to make sure that only some people have access to only some pages and stuff like that. Even just a more scalable approach. So that's the main idea behind it. Just make our potential customer base larger as well, make it a good fit for more situation, more use case.
Yeah, in order to give the possibility for bigger companies to use Nuxt Studio, we also need, as Ferdinand told us, some rules, but also a way to manage your branches, your GitHub branches. So we will give the ability to create branches, merge branches, and I mean, that's a really important thing for big companies, and it's also coming, I think it should be there before the end of the year. So branch management and more complex workflow should come.
By the time you hear this podcast, it might already be done. I don't know what's the delay between the recording and the, but we have to take that into account. So it's available. Just go visit Nuxt Studio. Everything we just present is available. Good luck, Baptiste. I hope you have a lot of time in the coming weeks.
Thanks. I'm not stressed at all.
Well, I'm excited to see what comes out. I'll be keeping posted. We're going to have a couple links in the show notes. So if you want to find the guests that we have today or anything that they've kind of described today, we'll have links for that in the show notes or in the video description if this is on YouTube and you're viewing it. So big shout out. Thank you so much, Ferdinand Coumau, for being on here. You can find him at Coumau Ferdinand on Twitter or Ferdinand Coumau on other social media platforms. Baptiste Leproux, he's Larbish on GitHub. That's Larbish on GitHub. And he's _Larbish on Twitter. So you can find him there. I'm Danny Thompson. I'm D Thompson Dev everywhere. I like to keep it pretty simple. You should be able to find me anywhere you need. And I would like to say one last time, big thank you to This.Labs for sponsoring this episode and their unwavering commitment to advancing the developer community. In today's fast-paced technical world, scaling your development teams and bringing innovative ideas to life can be challenging. That's where This.Labs comes in. We specialize in amplifying your technical capabilities, whether it's expanding your dev team with seasoned professionals or streamlining your project's journey from ideation to deployment. Our approach is personalized and collaborative. We take the time to understand your unique business needs and craft tailored solutions that not only meet but exceed expectations. With a proven track record with clients such as Node.js, we have Cloudinary, CA Technologies, Roblox, and PlayStation, we know we can deliver what it is that you need and help you reach those deadlines. Check out at this.co to discover how This.Labs can help transform your vision into reality. And everybody, I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.